Okay, so Be'ezras Hashem, we're continuing with the Rebbe's teachings on the Maimrim and the Maisios of Rabba Bar Chana, and these were collected again in Shnas Tafshin Ayin Gimel, given over in Ayin Beis, which was a Hisayrus to Geula back then. And we saw from the Vilna Gaon that Geula is oriented by the opening of the depths of the sea to be like the dry land, so that we can walk along the dry land within the sea itself. The secret of the depths of Torah being revealed, like Yonah ben Amittai finding that center point of connectivity in the heart of the sea, in the heart of the chaos. And ultimately, these teachings are what the Rebbe is drawing down from a hamshacha of what Rabbeinu Zal was drawing down, is the secret that in order to properly enter in to the depths of wisdom, in order to properly enter into the HaChochma, what a person must hold on to is a yichud between Chochma and Bina, a yichud between Ayin and Ani, a yichud between the Or and the Kli. And that's what it means to traverse the seas. And we saw that this is why it's found within Bava Basra, which is oriented towards the incoming Geula, and in particular Parak Hey, which is the secret of the dinim that are nimtak b'sharasham through the secret of the Hey of Atika Stima'a. And this process of the unification of Chachma and Bina, of the Yam HaChachma, of Rava and Bar Chana, this revelation of the yichud between Chachma and Bina, and how drawing down the klal of Chachma into the particularity of Bina, or the light of Chachma into the darkness of Bina, is not only not a degradation for the Chachma, but rather it's the only way that the Chachma can truly reveal itself. And in that sense, the Bina serves as the Kli Ra'ui and the only Kli imaginable to properly inaugurate the growth process of Chachma from within itself to reveal the more that is contained within the less, to reveal the secret of Keser Ilah, which is Aniva Ayin B'Vasachas. And we're going to now enter into the first mimer that's on Daf Kuf Chaf Dalid in Yam HaChochma Tafshin Ayin Gimel, and we're going to first and foremost read the words of the Maisa of Rabba Bar Chana, and then we're going to read the words of the Rebbe on it, and we'll intermingle some of our humble understanding in between. So Zakt the Heilige Gemara, Amar Rabba, Ishta'uli Nichusa Yama. The wayfarers told me, those who travel on the sea from place to place, those who descend down into the depths of secrecy. They told me in the process of teaching me the ways of entering into that place, that Hai Gala de Mitva Lesvina, when you encounter a wave that seems to crush the ship, that seems to sink the ship, you'll see that there is a white illumination and flame that is at the edge of the wave. And we fight back against it. We hit it back with a stick that has engraved upon it the words the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of Eke Asher Eke, and Ka Hashem Tzavakois, Amen, Amen, Selav. Okay. So biur inyan nechusayama. What is it that Rava Bar Chana is doing when he encounters these nechusayama, these strange tales of the Sipori Maisim Eshanim Kadmonios, to draw down the light of the Torah of Atikas Tima'a, to reveal the Torah Beli Levush, where we encounter the essential kernel of spirituality and connectivity to the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the secret of Makom Ha'aron Inam and Amida, in that place of Belevav Yam, in the heart of the sea itself. Where does that place come from? How do we learn how to enter in there? And what is Rava Bar Chana doing? So Amar Rava Ishtayli Nechusayama. I encountered the Nechusayama and they taught me. So Zak the Heilige Rebbe, Elu hat tzaddikim ha'elyonim shel hoilchim liyam ha'elyon. These Nechusayama, these souls that are shaykh to the water, that are shaykh to the Leviathan, that are shaykh to the Sodos HaTorah, that are going to be Niskala, when the sea opened itself up to reveal itself, like the Avasha, like the Tikkun Zohar says in Tikkun Chaf Aleph, which is so deeply connected to the Torah of the Gra, and we're entering into the Zman of the Gra right now, to the Simchas Pesach Shoeva, into the Torah of the Mayim Tachtoinim and the Mayim Milyonim, and the secret of Moshe and the Mayim Mishisuhu. The Torah of the Vilna Gaon is the Torah of Sukkot, it's the Torah of Nisach HaMayim, and so the Torah of the Vilna Gaon is very much filled with an understanding of the depth of Agadata, and that's why it's particularly based on the Tikkun Chaf Aleph, because Chaf Aleph is also going to be Gematria Eke. But when we find ourselves entering into that place of learning to transform the depths of the sea to become walkable, to the degree that it doesn't just become the dry land, but rather it remains the sea, but we're able to walk through it, so that there's a yichud of Chachma and Bina. These Nuchusayam are the tzaddikim elyonim that enter into that Yam ha'elyon, the Yam ha'elyon, the yichud of Chachma and Bina. V'nechnasim la'olamos ha'elyonim shebebechinas Yam ha'chachma. and they enter into those ascendant worlds. They deepen their experience within themselves, and through the stages and the gradations of bittul, they encounter more and more of the edges and the ripple effects of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Hisgalus in the world, and they enter into gradations of bittul, which bring about gradations of tainug panimi, up to the highest place imaginable of sha'ashuim panimim, of the secret of being connected without needing to move any place, because all that exists is the Yechidah Shebenefesh and Or Ein Sof Mamish. They enter into the HaChochma liyachid yichudim elyonim, to perform ascendant unifications in each and every moment, from the highest level to the lowest level. If the words of the tzaddik mean anything, they mean everything for everybody. So they have to mean something for the tzaddikim elyonim, who are mamish entering into the HaChochma to be miyachid yichudim elyonim, and it also means for those of us who find ourselves at the very bottom, who are also trying to be miyachid yichudim elyonim in our experiences, like Chana, tafrana alayim haya b'chol tefira v'tefira haya miyachid yichudim. That Chana was a shoemaker, and any stitch that he did to bring about the rectification of the shoe, he was being miyachid yichudim. The tzaddikim say it doesn't mean he was contemplating the mysteries of existence, that too, but what it meant is that he was present in whatever he was doing, and he was living with a state of shavisi Hashem nenegdi tamid. So the yichudim are shaykh to each and every person on any level that we experience them in our subjective orientation of relationship with the five worlds that compose our world, and our orientation to the Torah, to the mitzvahs, and to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. These neshamos, all of us, heim shatim biyam, they shoot forth from within the sea, out of the sea, in the sea, out the sea, from one edge to the other. Meketza leketza, be'olim beruchnius, they ascend with spiritual growth, and they move quickly. V'tasim betisa achas, and they fly under secrecy, in a place of concealment, not open to the eyes of others. V'olim u'magiyam lamala lamala b'kriris hadamim, and they ascend to the highest place of the kriris hadamim, to that place of ayin ha'amiti, where lo yichbat leklal, and a person doesn't feel anything because it's the kriris of the mayim elyonim, b'nachas, and with nachas, and a calmness of spirit, like the movement of Lavyasan silently swimming and smoothly moving through the sea, as the Baal Tanya describes in Likutei Torah, Parsha Shmini. Over there in Likutei Torah, what the Baal Tanya is masbir is that there's two types of tzaddikim. There are tzaddikim who operate under concealment and who are performing unifications within their mind without the need for farhesia, without the need to be named or identified, but rather performing the unifications and living a secret life of being a tzaddik of the Lavyasan, who lives with the silent simplicity of making yichudim. Each and every one of us has this within ourselves. Each and every one of us lives with this place of Lavyasan, and this Lavyasan place remains concealed, which is why the Suda of the Lavyasan, as we're going to see later on, is in such a concealed place. It's only in the place of Gehenna, in the body. The body is very often the Lavyasan. That's what we're doing on Sukkot when we enter into the skin of the Lavyasan. Lavyasan is Gematria Malchus. It's the Lavyasan that is performing all of the unifications in a secret place, even secret sometimes to the person who's performing the unifications themselves. It's the unconscious kind of subterranean watery space of the mind where things empty out, and there's a gilui of the unification between mayim elyonim and mayim tachtonim. These are the tzaddikim who are moving like the shita of the Lavyasan and the Yam. Then you have the Shor Habar, then you have the animal type of tzaddik who's operating in revealed land, who's engaged in mitzvos maisios and pu'ulos maisios, and engaging, obviously both tzaddikim are involved in both. The Shor Habar is with the Lavyasan, and Lavyasan is with the Shor Habar, but nevertheless there's a particular emphasis placed by the neshamos of the Lavyasan who are operating within a secret place in the mind and trying to create unifications quickly. The speed is necessary either because you're a big tzaddik and you want to go to the highest world imaginable, like we see by tzaddikim, like we see by the Rebbe Shlita himself recently, that things are moving very fast. The davening is going faster, and things are moving fast. There's a speed, there's an alacrity, there's a movement to higher levels, but at the same time, there's a calmness, and it's not born out of an urgency. And then you can also have the urgency that's born out of being at the lower level, where a person just has to rush to that place of calmness within the mind. Hasakana sheyeshna b'darchei ha'aliyah v'ha'etzel hazeh. Zok the Rebbe in Oispeis. V'hatzadikim halalu. These tzaddikim, these nuchusayama, those who are performing the unifications in the silent place and the secret place of the anonymity of the mind, limdu Rabba bar Chana, they came to teach Rabba bar Chana darchei ha'aliyah. They came to teach Rabba bar Chana how to ascend, how to find unifications within that hidden place. V'amrulo, and what they said to him is, Hai gala de mitva l'svina mitchaze ki tzutzitza de noira chavirta. This wave that is seemingly going to sink the ship has engraved upon it a fiery white fire at the edge of it. Eish levana v'malach mazeku. Zok the Rashbam, whose interpretation and commentary on Rabba bar Chana rests at the core of our ability to understand. That's That's what Rabbeinu used as well. Eish levana umalach maziku. So this eish levana, this white fire, the implication is that it's a malach of destruction. It's a destructive spiritual force. So this wave that is going to seemingly sink the ship reveals itself as a white fire, which is referred to as a destructive spiritual source. Beresha, you're going to see it at the head, at the edge of the wave. So what does this mean that we're going to see the destructive white flame, which represents a destructive spiritual force at the top of the at the top of the wave? So the Resha over here is going to be Chachma. Chachma is always the beginning. Chachma is the moach. Bina is the heart. Bina is the second expression. Chachma is the beginning of thought, and Bina is the hamshacha from Chachma down into the heart to extend the position of Chachma, but it can't extend itself until it descends into the particularity of Bina. So the secret of the Resha, the first, Kach Allah b'machshava, that place of Reshis HaMachshava, Reshis HaBriya, B'Bereshis is b'chochmasa, Chachma is the beginning. And so what's the sakana that takes place at the beginning of the wave? And why is it revealed as a white fire that reveals itself as something destructive? So Zakta Rebbe as follows, that what it means is kishe loichim es or hachachma, shehu bechinas or halavoininis, that when a person takes too much of the light of Chachma, which is referred to as a white light because of its orientation to Chesed, which over here in the Gemara is going to be described as a Noira Chavirta, as a white flame. It represents Chachma in its purity, Chachma in its Levonaniyut, in its whiteness, in the seemingly smooth perfection of it all. When a person only takes the head, when a person only takes the mayach of Chachma, without the levushim, without the process of drawing down that light of Chachma into the garments and the engarbment process of Bina, which is applying limitation to that grandiose idea so that it can be applied on a limited level. So if a person takes Chachma without Bina, if a person takes the ayin without the ani, if a person takes the infinite without the finite, if a person takes the light without the vessel, nihiyeh ha'or bebechinas malach mazik. At that point, the light of Chachma, no matter how profoundly powerful it is going to become a destructive force. Not because there's something negative about it, but seemingly it's just going to break things. That's the secret of Shvira. That's Riboy Oros, where a person doesn't have a kli for the or. A person is not drawing down the infinite light of Chachma into the finite containment vessels of Bina to reveal ultimately the secret power of Chachma in its root, which contains both Aniva Ayin B'Vasachas and the secret of Pnimius Chachma, Pnimius Atik. So that's the danger. The danger is this wave at the beginning with the white fire, which means that all a person is taking when they enter into the realm of Avoida, of Pnimius, all they take is the Chachma. All they see is the expansivity. All they take is the limitless nature of it, but they don't draw it down into the limitations, into the vessels and the containment vessels that allow it to be a practical way of functioning in day-to-day spiritual life. Then it's going to be destructive. Dahainu, meaning to say, the gal miramiz al riboy mayim shabuchinas riboy or hachachma sha'alul chas v'shalom lahatviyas asvina. So when the Gemara says that ishtoyuli nechusiyama gala, when I see this wave, what is the wave? Why is the wave this destructive thing? And that's surrounded by the white fire, which reveals itself as being too much chachma without bina. So the Rebbe explains that the gala, the reason it's a wave is because a wave reveals riboy mayim, too much water, shabuchinas riboy or hachachma, meimei hachachma, and the eish of bina. So when you have too much chachma, which is riboy or, and you don't have the kalim to draw it down into a practical way, and a person doesn't know how to allow the limitless light of all things to express itself fundamentally without any separation within the limit of all things, so alul chas v'shalom lahatviyas asvina, this can sink the ship, this can sink the body that contains the soul, this can sink the ability for a person to properly traverse the depths of meaning that exists within the mind and within reality through the aliyos and the yechudim. Hainu. What does it mean? What can it sink? It can sink at tzaddik sheshat b'soichi amachochma. The tzaddik who enters into the amachochma and forgets about the bina and thinks only about the chochma, so that ship is going to be sunk by the great wave which reveals too much water, in particular with the eish chavirta, with the white fire which reveals too much chesed, too much chochma. V'zehu kishehu bebechinas tzutzitza denoira bereisha. This is what it means when the too much chochma and the white fire is at the very beginning. Hainu bechinas moyach lolo leiv chas v'shalom, which would, God forbid, reflect itself in the misuse of avoida and the failed attempt at avoida, which would be too much chachma without drawing it down into the leiv, without drawing it down into the heart, which is the place of separation. So Zak the Rebbe in Ois Gimel. The only way to move forward and move away from this threat of chachma sinking the self and sinking the ship, so the only eitzah is to draw down the light of chachma into the garments of bina. to draw them down further and further into the containment garments and to allow the light of Chochmah to express itself with limitation, so that we come to see that limitation is not in opposition to the unlimited. And the only eitzah for this is to be malbish or HaChochma halavan b'levushel bina. Halbasha is the secret of concealing for the sake of revealing. It's allowing there to be a garment placed upon Chochmah, so that Chochmah, because it can't be revealed in its intensity and its nakedness, it has to undergo the process of the diminution for the sake of revelation, which is a secret of halbasha. That halbasha always conceals for the sake of revealing, and the only eitzah to protect ourselves from too much chachma and floating into the wholeness of it all and forgetting about the particularity of it all is to draw it down into the levushim of bina. V'zehu machinan le ba'avasa dechakik alea eke asher eke ka Hashem tzavakos amen amen sela v'nayich. And this is what it means when the Nechusayam said, you want to protect yourself from this danger, what you have to do is you have to hit it and you have to beat it back with a stick that has engraved upon it the name Eke Asher Eke, and in addition it has to have the name Ya Hashem Tzavakois Amen Amen Selavanayich. Diyesh the halbish es chachma. What we have to come and do is we have to be malbish the chachma. We have to learn the secret of being mitzamsim the chachma, not forgetting about the nikud of chachma, which is something that is unlimited, but draw down that unlimited sense into the states of limitation so that we retain a connection to the unlimited nature of Chochmah, but now it's specifically within the containment valves and the levushim and the kalim of Bina, so that I can actually process it and that I can actually function with it. That's the secret of V'yesh lahalbish es Chochmah, which is the bechina of the or, which is the secret of Shem Havaya, betoich shemos v'levushe habina, within the names and the garments of Bina, which are the names of Eke, shehu Shem Habina. So when a person looks in the Siddur of the Arizal, a person looks in the Siddur of the Rashash, and the Rebbe wrote on Purim and said on Purim that the reason that young people can learn the Siddur HaRashash, even without really knowing what's being written in it, in the Beis Medrash, is because, number one, is that the Hanhaga of the Beis Medrash is that a person can do that, and typically the type of soul that finds itself in that Beis Medrash is of need to engage with some sort of spiritual imagination to kind of restart all things and to bring a person back to illumination. But in addition, when the Yetzer Hara decides to unleash itself with insanity and doesn't hold back anymore, so we also have to do the same thing, mitzad HaKedusha, and the secret of Kamt Meshuga with Meshuga, that a person has to fight insanity with insanity, and that's the secret of looking at the Shemos and trying to understand the Yechudim. When a person looks at the Shemos, what a person will always see is the Shemos Havayos Hamenukados, and then there's also going to be underneath the Shemos Havayos, which are going to correspond to whatever process is going on at that point. But typically it's going to be just like the 10 Sfiros, there's going to be 10 shapes of the Shem Havaya, oriented as the Partzuf or the Eitz Chaim of the Sfiros, and underneath them is going to be with the same Nekuda, the Shem Eheke, Aleph, K, Yud, K. And the reason for that is that a person is being mamshich the moichin of Abba and Ima, of Chochma and Bina, down into Zer Anpin in order to be mezavig and to be miyachid with Nuk, to draw down and to elevate more hashpa and more hasagas elokus. So the shemos of Chachma are the shemos Havaya, which represent Chesed and the beginningness of all things, and Eke, the shem of Eke, which is oriented towards Tshuva, which is oriented towards the depths of the sea, like the Lavyasan, like we said, Tikkun Chaf Aleph, which is the secret of Havadai Shemoy Ken Tilaso, that specifically from within Bina the light will come out. So that's why the only way to beat down this wave that seeks to destroy the tzaddik by overwhelming it with the light of Chachma that doesn't get drawn down into practicality, so then it has to be Malumish in the Shemos of Bina, which is the Shem of Eke, Asher Eke. And that's what the Gemara says over here, that the Nechusayama said, this is how you calm down that wave. But why is it Eke, Asher Eke? Theoretically, it should be just Eke or Eke. Why does the Pasuk add that Asher? Seemingly, if we need Bina and the Levushim of Bina to calm down the waves of Chachma, so why add this Asher? So Zok the Rebbe, Va'amnan Asher, Sheba'emsa Shem Eke, Asher Eke, when it comes to the Osios of Aleph, Shin, Reish that are in between the two Ekes, so we have to understand that Hu Osios Rosh, the Osios of Asher are the Osios of Rosh, which represent the Chachma itself, Reishis Asviros, the beginning, meaning Shemalbishu because we surround Chochma from all of its sides with the levushim of Eke, but the most important part is the Asher, the Rosh that rests within the levushim. It doesn't mean forgetting about Chochma and going down into Riboy Kalim of Bina and forgetting about the Chochma because of the threat of living with too much Chochma. What it means is going down into Bina to reveal the light of Chochma that exists within Bina itself and is Nishmar al Yedei Bina, which is the secret of the Asher, which rests in the center of Vav, the Eke and the Eke, revealing that it's the most essential part of it, that Bina is there to reveal the full potency of Chochma, the Reishis Asviros, that we surround it, and so that the essential purpose continues to be the bittul of Chochma, but it gets drawn down into the Kli and the Hasaga of Ani, the Hainu, Lahalbish es or Soides HaTorah b'toich levushe avodas Hashem. What this means is, practically speaking, to draw down the lights and the secrets of Torah, which are revealed to the Mechusay Yama, the depth of Einoin Movado, the secret that even the most concealed place in the world, like the Chelvana of the Ketores, is going to be Megalazain and HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Yichud as much as anything else. And in that place of the Yam HaChochma, a person can lose sight of the deep significance and the fundamental linchpin of Avodas HaBechira and Avodah of Hashpa'ah and the Avodah of doing and the Avodah of Torah and Mitzvahs L'Shma. And so in order to do that, we have to ensure that we draw the Sodas Torah down into the levushim of Avodas Hashem. It has to walk with a person on every level of their experience. It has to be the medicine through which a person lives in this world. The B'toich levushe niglas Torah, and as well as bringing it down into the revealed elements of this worldliness to reveal that this is not simply about seeking transcendence, but rather about accessing transcendence for the sake of drawing it down into the levushim of immanence itself. B'chdei lishmor es or hasodos, in order to ensure that the light of the secrets, the light of the seed, does not overwhelm and that it does not lead to a riboy oros. And zehu soid, and this is the secret of a machinin leba alvasa. This is why they push back against this wave with the alvasa, which is a wooden plank that has engraved upon it Eke, Asher Eke, and these other names, which is a wooden plank that represents the light of Bina. What's the wooden plank? Shema Maisim Tovim, the mitzvos Maisios, B'chinas Avak, in the secret of the Vav Ksavos, in the secret of the 6 days of the week, where a person has to be a Ben Adam, and we have to draw the light of Shabbos down into the 6 days of the week. Kamay alvasa shebetzuras os yud, os vav, like the alvasa, like a staff, which is actually in the secret of the shape of a vav. The vav is where the lights of Sodas Torah have to be nimshach down into the chut Shedra, to irrigate the heart, the mind, the body, in order to not remain above where we can be sunken by the overwhelmingness of the water, but to draw the water into the levushim of Bina, which is the secret of the Osvav, because the tachlis of Bina is to draw down the moichin from Chochma down into Zer Anpin, which is the secret of the Vak, Shena'asim im moichim kedoshim, the shemos ha-kedoshos ha-melubashim b'toich ha-maisim. And it's specifically through the maisim tovim that we engage in, with a connection to the moichin kedoshim, which is the intentionality and the kavana of focusing on HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name, which is going to be expressed and found within our maisios. L'shem yichud kudshe b'richu v'shchinte b'dechilu v'rechimu, to engage with that, to recognize that Shavisi Hashem l'negdi tamid, drawing that light of Shavisi down into the changing chamber of Avodah, which is the levushim of Bina. Shemal bishim es ora chachma v'ayichudim b'soich ha'maisim toivim v'hamitzvos. That what the tzaddikim do is they say, to protect yourself from the overwhelming sea of wisdom, from the overwhelming sea of chachma itself, a person has to draw down the light of the Yehudim into Maisim Tovim, into the mitzvos themselves, and with this we're makim behem esaklipa sharoitzela hatviyas asvina. And it's specifically through this awareness of the necessity of the levushe bina to be nimshach into the moichin of Zer Anpin, which is the secret of avodah l'shem avodah. So that's the secret of ensuring that the sea does not sink the ship, and that the ship is capable of becoming the secret of nechusayama, which is the yichud of chachma and bina. Zak the Heilige Rebbe in Os Dalid. Va'ayidei halbashas or hachachma b'levushe habina v'chiburim ke'achad. And when we draw down the infinite lights of Chochma into the levushim and into the garments of Bina, and they're unified together, and the secret of Abba the Ima are train reigned misparshin, and then in truth Bina is just an extension from the lip of Chachma down to reveal that Chachma can extend itself down even further, and from that further place it's revealed the true power of Chachma, which is Pnimius Chachma, Pnimius Da'atik. In this secret, through the Habash of the Or Chachma in Bina, Zeichim liyichud da Amen. Then we're going to be Zeicha to the full yichud of Amen, which is Gematria Tzadi Aleph, which is the same Gematria as Sukkah, which is the same Gematria of Havaya and Adnus, the recognition of the yichud between Zer Anpin and Malchus, which is the Tachlis, meaning to say that it's not just to be miyachid the Chochma and the Bina. The Tachlis of the yichud of Chochma and Bina, of Abba Ve'ir, which are train reigned, the Lemis Parshin, is to be mamshich the yichud down into the secret of Amen, which is why the Gemara uses that lashon, as we're going to see. What is Amen? Amen is the yichud of Havaya and Adnus. When you take Havaya, which is the gematria of 26, and Adnus, which is the gematria of 65, you come to the gematria of Amen, which is Tzei Mediras Arai B'Shav B'Diras Keva, which is the secret of Sukkah, which is the gematria of Amen, and that's the yichud of Kudshe B'Richu V'Shchinte, to reveal the Tachlis process of drawing down the highest lights into the lowest vessels, and through that, a person has the ability to go from the yichud that we find in this world itself to access the worlds that are only reserved to be revealed in the future, which is revealed in the next word of the Gemara, Shemerumas B'Tevas Sela, because Sela represents a second form of the yichud. Tzadi Aleph represents the yichud of Havaya and Adnus in the Gematria of 91. But Sela is the secret of Bayom Hahu Yashem Echad Ushmai Echad, and that La'asid level, the lower levels of Vav Hey of the Shem Havaya are going to be Oile and to become Yud K, and that's the secret of Yeh, Hashem Echad, Ushmai Echad, and that's a higher level. So Amen represents the Yichud that we can access in this time, and through the access of the Yichud in this time, we can also encounter the secret of Sela, which is the secret of the Yichud that's going to be Niskal in the future. Then in the future, in that day, Yihiyah, which is Yud Hey, where the Vav Hey, the lower realm, is revealed to have also been part and parcel of the Abba Ve'ima Eloyin. Not that there's actually going to be a bittul, but it's going to be an erech of bittul klape, that which we understood. Shashem Havaya Yis'ale La'asid L'Madregosh Shem Yihiyah. That in the future, the Shem Havaya, which represents the Chochma, the Bina, the Zer Anpin, and the Malchus, is going to ascend back up to a place of Yud Hey, which is theoretically Chochma Bina. The Hainu Shahazun Shabba'oisias Vav Hey, that the Zer Anpin and Nukva, which represent themselves in the Vav Hey, Yushlimu V'yalu L'Madregas Achub Shabba'oisias Yud Hey, are going to refine themselves and ascend themselves up to the Darga of the Yud K of Chochma and Bina. But again, the Yud K of Chochma and Bina are going to be Niskal to be the Vav Hey of something even higher ad infinitum. And that's the secret of Yihiyah, Hashem Echad. So Yihiyah, instead of Havaya, with the Shem of Adnus, Yihiyah is now the Gematria of 30. It's not just 26. It's 30 now. So 30 plus 65 is going to be the gematria of Tzadi Hey, not Tzadi Aleph, which is going to be the secret of Tzei, which is the gematria of Sela. So as we look back into the Gemara, what we see is Amar Rabba, Ishtauli Nechusayama, Hai Gala de Mitzvah Svinta de Mitchaze Beit Tzitzusta de Nahara Chavirta Bereisha. So Rabba Baruch Chana learned from those who go down into the depths of the sea to properly learn the orientations or the secrets of Torah, and he comes to understand the fear and the threat of being sunken by a wave of Chochma that reveals itself at the beginning, where all a person takes is the klal of Chochma, and that reveals itself as a white fire, which is overwhelmingness of the light of unity without drawing it down into the garments of concealment, which are the secrets of Bina. And so the only way that we can handle it is Machinan le ba'alvasa d'chakik alea eke asher eke, and the way we push back against it is by engaging with drawing down the lights of Pnimiyas HaTorah down into the Maisa, down into the secret of the Vav Hey, which is the secret of being Mamshech Sodas HaTorah into the practicality of day-to-day life, and ensuring that the light of Chochmah always find a reception in the Levushim of Bina. And in addition to that secret of Eka, Asher Eka, that the Rebbe says is because the Eka and the Eka are the Binas that are Malbish, the Chochmah, where the Iker still continues to be the Ayin of Chochmah, but the Levushim of Ani, of Bina, just serve to reveal it more and more. And then with additional names of Ka Hashem Tzivakos, which the Rebbe does not describe, and the Rebbe does not spend time explaining why those names are there. And then the Maimer ends, Amen, Sela, V'nayach. So Amen represents the Yichud that we can find at this point in time, which is the Yichud of Havaya and Adnus, but the Sela is the secret of the Yichud of the future that gets revealed, the Mermasig, the future of the present, because within the present moment, we also uncover the secret lights of that which is from beyond the present moment, and that's the secret of Amen and Sela. And now the Rebbe is going to give a reason why it says Amen twice. So Zakta Heilige Rebbe v'nichbala tevas Amen. Why is Amen, the Yichud of Tzei, revealed twice? Why is it doubled? L'ramez al beis yichudim, because there has to be a doubling of the yichud. Kedivrei hapasuk, like the pasuk in Mishlei says in Eishes Chayil, ki cholvesa lavu shanim, that her entire home is dressed in the clothing of shanim. Chazal say in the Zohar Kadosh, al tikri shanim, don't read that they're dressed in this fine cloth. Ela shnayim, they're dressed in the nature of being doubled, in the secret of ma'aras hamachpela, the nature of doubling things, of doing things twice. That's what it means. Lo sira beisa mishaleg, that the house shouldn't be afraid. Ki cholvesa lavush shnayim, that a person, if they're afraid that the first time didn't work, then they have to go back and do it again in the secret of Kavi El Hashem, Yachlifu Koyach V'Kavi El Hashem, and doubling down on the same avoid in the secret of Chazara over and over of the same klalim. That means that we're being miyached in two different places, the yichud of gar and the yichud of vak. We're being miyached the first yichud in the place of the mind, and then we're making sure to draw down the second yichud into the heart and the body itself. Hainu malbishim es hachochma b'levush habina pa'amayim. We have to ensure that we draw down the light of chochma into Bina twice. That's why it's Amen twice. First, we have to draw it down into the Gar, which is going to be kind of the first Eheke, which is Bina, and then we have to draw it down into the Vak, which is the second Eheke, which is going to be the Giloi in Zer Anpin itself. Because Chachma has to be Meskala in Bina as well as Zer Anpin in order to be Nimshach down into Malchus, which is the tachlis of all of it, in the secret of Abba Yisod Brata. So it says over here that it has to be the yichud of gar and the yichud of vak. That we have to draw it down into the levush of bina twice. Aleph bahagar. First and foremost, it has to be in the gar, and that's the tevos of eke asher eke. Shemabishim asher. The first asher has to be roish, which is the chochma has to be mulubash in the bina of eke. So I was wrong. Okay, so it's not that both Yichudim of Gar and Vak are revealed in the both Ekes. Eka Asher Eka reveals the first Hamshacha of Chachma down into Bina, which is being Malbish, the Rosh of Chachma within the first Shlav of Bina, and that's the Bina of Eke, Asher Eke, which is written on the Avlasa. And then we see the second one is Ka Hashem Tzavakos, what we said earlier that the Rebbe didn't do. I just didn't, I didn't look far enough. And so again, correcting the second yichud is going to be the second yichud of drawing it down into Yud K Hashem Tzavakos, which is the yichud of Vak, the lower level of that yichud. Shem Albishim, the bina within the bechina of Rachamim, within Tiferes, which are going to be the levushim of Yud K Tzavakos. Shem the bechinos are the shemos of the bechina of Din. V'havi bechinos habashas levushay habina ala chachma. This second stage, this second name after Eke Asher Eke, which is the first levush of bina to chachma, there's going to be the second levush, which is the perhaps tvuna or being mamshichet from tvuna into zer anpin, is going to be the Yud K Hashem Tzavakos. That's going to reveal the yichud of the vak of chachma within bina. Shem albishim. Hey, that we draw down the light of Hashem into the Zer Anpin, into the Hanaga of Tiferes, which is the element of Rachamim, into the Levushim of Ka and Savakos, which are Shemos of Din. And that's just another expression of drawing down the lights of Chachma into the Levushim and the Habasha of Bina on top of Chachma. So the more Levushim, the more the light of Chachma is going to be revealed through the Levushim. Vahainu, meaning to say, Sheish Lachzor al Yichud Pa'amayim, this Yichud of Havaya and Eke, this yichud of Havaya and Adnus, which reveals the Tzei, which reveals to us the Sela, which reveals the secondary yichud of the future, we have to double it. By doing it twice, Mizgala or Yoter Amuk. That every time a person is chayzer on something, every time a person is chayzer on a machshava tova, every time a person is chayzer on saying the words Rabbana Shalom, the more and more a person is not simply repeating what has already been said, rather a person is descending deeper and deeper. V'niftach meyichud the amen yichud hashalim desela. And when a person descends deeper and deeper and digs down deeper into the yichud, what they uncover is the watery depths of the future, the yichud of the sela, the yichud of the future. Shua yichud la'asid shenizkar az ulenaich. And at that point, when we have access to that yichud, we're going to experience the calmness and the protection that we'll have from that wave. Hainu lemenucha de la'asid. The calmness of the future, B'yom Shekula Shabbos, on the day that's entirely Shabbos, Menucha L'chaya Elamim, Beheira B'yameinu Amen. In that time where we don't have to be worried as much about drawing the lights of Chachma into the vessels of Bina, because all of it is going to be happening naturally, and there's going to be ascendancy of Dargan that a person has to work on, but it's going to be B'derech Menucha. It's going to be the secret of the Tenuah HaEschadshus, which is the continued articulation of the Levusha of Bina, but within the Tainuk HaTamidi, within the perpetual pleasure of Chachma itself. That's only revealed when we dig down deep into the present moment orientation of the Yichud and its limitation, which is still just the Yichud of Zun, the Yichud of Havaya and Adnus, but from within that Amen, and Amen, we do it twice, and then we enter into the place of Sela, which is the secret of finding, of tasting the future in the present right now, which is the secret of entering into the sea, Be'ezras Hashem.